So we're moving right along with our 1965 Mustang project here, Biting the Bullitt, and in the first segment we finished up the custom IFS front suspension from TCI. So no more shock towers, plenty of room to work on the tall deck 351 we got going in here. Obviously after front suspension we moved to rear suspension. So the stock 7.5-inch rear end, it's not going to cut it. So we pulled the whole entire rear suspension out of the car, which is a feat in its own. After that we cut out the inner wheel housings to make way for our Autoworks Mini-Tub. Now, Autoworks Mini-Tub is really nice because they're really the only Mini-Tub kit designed for first generation Mustangs. So pretty simple in theory. You cut the inner tubs just about 1.5 inches away from the seam line that separates the inners and the outers. And then you kind of just play a game of fitting and cutting and fitting and cutting until you get it kind of in where you want it. And then the Autoworks tubs will weld against the frame rail, and then it'll give you a little bit of an overlap to weld to the stock tub location, and then seam seal it on top. And again, not that bad, it's just cutting and welding. After the Mini-Tubs were in, we then went to get our strange rear end here. We shortened this 1 inch for basically what we did with the leaf springs as well. The strange rear end is super bulletproof, fully engaged axle tubes here that are just welded right into the housing, nice and sturdy. We went with the nodular iron third member here, so super high quality, super durable. Went with the 370 rear gear. Why we went with that is we have a 4-speed TCI 4L80E, so we have an overdrive, we have a 1-to-1. So we could get a little bit less aggressive on what we needed to do for the rear gear ratio and still be able to drive around on the freeway, no problem. They use Motive gear rear gears, so super high quality there. Pinion flanges, the 1350 is typical. Also we have a Daytona pinion support. The pinion support really kind of enhances the pinion life over like a cast piece. For axles, we went with a S-Series 35 spline, Detroit locker, differential. Again, not a spool. We want to be able to drive this car around and take turns and not feel the wheel chatter underneath low RPM. The S-Series axles are not hardened all the way through. They're a little bit soft in the middle, so they can bend for street use, and Strange recommends up to about 1,000 horsepower on a S-Series type axle. Connected to the axles are Wilwood's monoblock 4-piston calipers and their 12-inch vented rotors. They're vented and also cross-drilled and slotted. They're not like a plate, race kit. It's actually something that we can drive around and put heat through and not have to worry about it. It's very similar to the kit up front. They fit real tight to the weld wheels. The welds are an RT Series Classic with a black center and silver outer polished lip. Really, really beautiful wheel. It's going to look great in this car, especially with its classic design. And once we get repainted Highland green, it's going to look like a real Bullitt Mustang once we get it all done. No introduction needed for the tires. We wrapped it up in a set of 275/60 Mickey Thompson drag radials. These things have been as low as low 5s and the 8s, so we're not worried about traction problems with the power we got to put down here. For the additional suspension components, we turned to Calvert. We went with Calvert's split mono leaf, which is a nice 2-piece, low-weight leaf spring, much lighter than a multi-leaf. To keep it from wrapping up, we have the Caltrax, which again, it can adjust preload into the bar, keeps the spring from wanting to wrap up when you launch hard, keeps it nice and true and firm, and mounts it to the frame. Now for the forward mount, we actually cut it out and went to a 1-piece mount from Afco versus the stock stamped 2-piece mount, and located the inner mount in 1 inch. And then also we went with some Mopar style offset shackles in the rear. So everything's over 1 inch, which gives us more clearance for the wheel and tire to the leaf spring, which obviously can be a problem on these first generation Mustangs. And then to cap off all the Calvert parts, we went with a Rancho 9-way adjustable shock. This is a really nice piece and is adjustable for rebound, so we can get this car to leave and have good body separation. As you can see too, the fuel system's kind of getting plumbed into the car. The motor and transmission's in the car. We're real close to getting the car final fabricated, getting all the glass and chrome pulled off the car, get it to paint, and get it back here and start to get it running.